ba, 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 ba. Da, 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 da. And Dawn and Sarah. Okay, I'm gonna get started. Go ahead and get started because hey Dawn. Go ahead and get started because Leanne and I have a day to take off and just have fun, be children. Which brings me to the point of today. Hey Sarah, Sheila. Thanks for the information on the moon yesterday, Sheila. So Leanne and I are going to take off and be children today, which I think is really important. So I want to bring that in today. You know, I like to play with words, and you know the word renewed. I was thinking about that today. Renewed. You could actually be renewed, N-U-D-E, which would be like going back to the garden and being innocent, where we're not looking at each other and judging. Well, usually what happened in that was we were judging ourselves. So take away the judgment for ourselves and judgment from others when we get renewed, when we go back to that innocent state as a child, where there is no right and wrong, and there's not what I've been playing with lately is creating a format where we can bring emotions back to a state that's non-dualistic. So I know all the there's 5 elements in Chinese medicine. I totally love Chinese medicine. It explains a lot of things. Fire, earth, metal, water, wood, and there's sadness in fire, there's worry in earth. Fire, earth, metal is control or letting go, grief, letting go. And then that goes into water, which is fear, and then fire, which is back to the sadness part. So all of those emotions are meant to guide us, but I've been thinking about emotions that go beyond duality. In other words, we're no longer letting our reaction to the environment or our response to the environment being our guide. So I believe that the fall in consciousness, not like we got kicked out of the garden because we're in the garden, but that the perception of separation led to the need of having this emotional response to reality in a broken spectrum. So that's the first time I said that. I kind of got a tingle in my head. So sometimes when I talk, I'm getting information myself. So in this broken spectrum of feeling, which is meant to guide us, emotions, right? We get anger and we make a stand, hopefully do, unless we have programming, and then we get anger and we stuff it and then we're passive aggressive, right? So programming has a lot to do with this as well, but the main point I'm getting to is the renewed part, renewed, N-U-D-E, going back to the garden where there's not a judgment or a self-perception of ourselves or others as being good or bad, or that our nakedness or our natural selves is bad. Not like childlike as ignorant, but child blended with knowing and understanding. In other words, what guides me instead of me reacting to my environment from fear, worry, anger, sadness is wonder. That feeling, as opposed to sadness, anger, fear, and worry. Excitement, enthusiasm. Hey, Yolanda. So getting past maybe the 5 element dualistic way of having to be guided because the environment is telling us where to go, instead of just hopping into wonder, which is what Leanne and I are going to do. We're going to hop into wonder and just see what happens. I wonder what's going to happen next, which leads to a wonderful day. And peace and things like that, which are non-dualistic. And I'm not letting the environment guide me, and I'm not reacting to my environment with fear, worry, or anger, but I'm guiding it from the inside. And again, this to me is like another level coming into me regarding, we talked about creation. I think everybody here has heard about, or at least heard about, but seen The Secret or read the book, which is the law of attraction. What you're vibrating to, hey Diane, whatever you're vibrating to is, what comes to you. But to me, the law of attraction, it explains some things, but what I'm calling the new law of creation, and it's not even a law, it's just the way it is, law. So the new creation way, the new creation Tao means way, is that I'm tuning into certain frequencies within my heart, this inertia field, just like in the galaxy, it has an inertia field. I'm tuning into it, and I'm helping birth it out of me, which is a totally cool new perception, because that puts us more into the co-creator seat, as opposed to I'm just drawing things to me like a magnet. So I'm no longer just drawing things to me like a magnet. Yeah, that is happening, but the deeper happening that the focus I'm getting drawn to put our attention on is what we are birthing out of us, what frequency is coming out of here. And the imagery that's come to me, hey Wendy, the imagery that has come to me recently, I've studied a lot of things in Sufism. You have the heart with the wings that spread out. So what I've been seeing is that heart space with the wings being that inertia field. That's the vibrations that are going out. And our heartbeat is fractalic, meaning there's more than just one pulse. There's multiple pulses. So if you know about how you read the pulse on here, the Middle Eastern way to read the pulses, 3 superficial, 3 deep, 6 points on each side, which makes 12 meridians. You can read each meridian pulse because the heartbeat is fractalic. It has many different frequencies on it. So our heart vibration is telling our body what state to be in, healthy or illness or disease. So it goes back to our heart space being the main director or conductor of this universe, one song, conducting our musical, because each one of us is a musical note. I say each one of you is a love note to the world, a letter and a frequency. So whenever we're all in harmony in this big universe, it's like it's a beautiful orchestra, and life is orchestrating according to the orchestra and what we're conducting from the heart. But all of it goes back to the conductor first, and everything else is just secondary, third, fourth, and fifth. So the law of attraction is something that is part of what's happening, but it goes even deeper, which I'm always going to source. I'm like, I want to go to source. Since I've been aware and awake, I want to go to source. I don't want to go through anybody or anything. I just want to go to source. I want to go to source. I want to go to source. And I'm in any other kind of static, I just turn off. So today, saying all that is going back to the renewed aspects, renewed, N-U-D-E. Going back to the garden where we were naked, unashamed, and our feelings weren't in the 5 spectrum like in Chinese medicine, fear, worry, anger, sadness, but wonder drove our life. Wonder, excitement, exploring, getting into, letting that be the seat of where we live life instead of a reactionary emotional aspect, because we're one being. We're white light at the core of us, a crystalline being. However, duality split ourselves into 7, just like a prism, it split our being into 7 aspects. But it's 7 aspects of one thing. So to me, as we go back to the heart, we go back to our unity, and those vibrations, those color rays, just like the rainbow, being, when you see a rainbow, when a prism is created out and like looking at the distance, you see a rainbow because there's enough moisture droplets to help create this prism. But at the core, we're just pure white light workers, white blood cells. So getting back to the heart, I want us to focus today on the being renewed, going back to the garden, being naked, unashamed of ourselves, and letting wonder be in the driver's seat, being the compass that allows us to pull life into us, and also directs us where to go. From the inside out, not reactionary, not because of that fearful thing, and not because of that good thing. It's like I'm the center, and in the center of the storm, I get to guide the whole thing or be a part of that guiding. So let's go ahead and clear the temple, tapping over the sphenoid area, gallbladder 1. And then take some fingers and rake off the side of the head. The gallbladder meridian starts here. And actually the Seiheki, if you have not received my PDF, holler at me and I'll send you a PDF. It's a total free PDF. I've sent it to most people on this call or on this meeting here. And it goes through things like what the sphenoid bone is, the pituitary gland, which is the 10 commandments. It's 2 lobed. The commandments are hormones, sets inside your sphenoid bone, which is the Ark of the Covenant. Your body is the Word made flesh. Every biblical text out there is a reflective of the temple that you are. You're a temple. So at this time period when we have this pause, what's being highlighted is how the money changers of the world, wanting us to buy into this particular belief and this particular belief and this particular belief, it's about throwing all the money changers out of our temple. And we just go direct, plain and simple. We go direct, we throw the money changers out, and then we go direct, and then we bring God into this world. We're the rainbow bridge that connects mother and father, which mother Earth is a particle if you look at it far away, and Father Sky is the wave. It goes into quantum physics and quantum mechanics. We are the collapsers of that wave that creates reality. So don't buy into the crap that you don't want to have happen in the world. You let your inner wonder and excitement guide you. Don't let those other things happen. And so we're moving from being reactionary and responsive to reality to really, really owning how we help create it. So let's do 2 more times, tapping on the temple. Remember, this is where you touch whenever you're trying to get your head clear, right? You're working on something, and you're like, let me tune it in. So this is our tuner, right? So we got to clear out the temple. Throw out the money changers that want to take our time and our energy and our focus. Nope, say no to that. Sweep it out of your head. 1 more time. All I want in my focus and in my heart is wonder, is innocence. And help bring that back to myself, the world, and the planet, the community, my family. Innocence, life, completely connected to source, completely connected to God. There's a tangible connection and an understanding and feeling that it's not something that we kind of have to have faith in blindly. We feel it. We know it. We're walking in the garden every day. Every time you take a step, you're stepping in the garden. Getting back in touch with that, like you know it ultimately. You feel your connection to source. You're interacting with source on a daily basis. I'm just a finger pointing at the moon. Like the old Zen koan says, the finger, like you can imagine this little thing is the moon. I'm the finger pointing at the moon. Don't even get caught up in what I'm saying, because my focus is I'm going there. I'm going direct. I'm focusing there. So everything in my life that has helped to wake me up has pointed me to being in that space, being that. So don't get caught up too much on what everybody's saying, but try to go for the direct experience. This is what I'm just trying to help dial in for myself more and more each day, which, man, each time I do this meditation, the deeper I get, the more feeling I have. Like, I watched a movie the other day. I bawled like all the way through it because my feeling world has turned back on. I didn't even realize that it had to the level that it had. So getting back to that nakedness where we just feel raw. And it wasn't like a sad crying. It was actually very uplifting feeling, but it was just like the saturation of feeling. It's been happening to me more and more. You might have even noticed during these meditations, it'll hit me. Whew. It's just like such a strong feeling of just being saturated with I don't even know what to say, bliss, source. So having the temple clean, I want you to focus here and here. You got a pituitary, which is the queen's chamber, and you got the king's chamber, the pineal, which is behind it, king and queen. Got that pyramid, the front, the sides, and the back. And then if you bend your head slightly, the pyramid is pointing up. That's your steeple that aligns, that lengthens the spinal cord, lets the chi flow, the kundalini. So kundalini is Ida, which is the left side, the feminine, Ida. And then you have Pingala on the right side, okay? And they're the snakes, which just represents pure energy, that go up the tree of life, the staff, the Shishumban, which is the center of Kundalini. And each time the male Pingala crosses with the Ida, you get a chakra, okay? That's the male and female dance, over and over and over and over and over again. And to me, Ida is Eve, and Pingala is Adam. And they're wrapped on the Shishunman, which is the tree, okay? At the top of the medical staff, you see a circle, which really represents the thalamus. It is the sun in your brain. Your astrology chart goes right to your brain. And then the wings you see are the corpus callosum, the nerve fibers that connect your left and right brain. So the medical staff, which is interesting, that Western medicine uses the most metaphysical imagery out there, representing your spiritual body. So we're unifying that. We're unifying. You are the unified field theory, by the way. You are the one that bridges. So if you know quantum physics and physics, what they're trying to do is find a unified field theory that puts together quantum mechanics and relativity, which is like 1 + 1. You know, this gets us to the moon kind of mathematics. And quantum mechanics means any kind of crazy stuff can happen. We are the unified field ourselves. We unify those fields. So our consciousness is what's collapsing waves. It's what's making relativity and the quantum world dance together. And then reality comes out of us. Not to us, out of us. So as long as we're focused on the duality, we see the world coming at us and we got to fight it or we're going to run to it. No, that's the old way, old duality way. Coming into the heart, I'm focusing on wonder, excitement, and I'm going back to being nude and just totally open and vulnerable. When I know that I'm helping create my reality, that heart inside my rib cage is no longer caged by the cage. Its energy goes beyond. So going to the heart space, focusing with the mind, I want you just to give the intent to be immersed or baptized in this renewed feeling of the childlike innocence of who you really are. So when we go into the heart space, we're going to begin to imagine that we're baptized in that innocence, the renewed sense of self. Not duality, unity. And unity is you and I. Unity, right? U-N-I-T. And Louisa actually pointed that out. I was like, yeah, I totally think the same thing. So it's you and I are one. So focusing on the heart space, going into that octahedron, pyramid going up, pyramid going down. Again, if you need the PDF, holler at me. It's totally free. And that is spinning in the center of your being, in this plasmic field, if you will. And imagine that you're inside of that octahedron and it's deep inside of yourself. You've got an entire universe inside of you. Universe. And I want you to imagine that you're being just submerged in source energy and God energy. It's the namaste space. When I'm in this space in me, and you are in that space in you, and anybody else is in that space in them, we are all one. Imagine that you're being baptized in that innocence, which is what really baptism represents, is taking away everything that was in between you and God, you and Source, which is all, you know what that is? All this misperception. There's nothing else in between you and Source and God or the garden. It's all just illusion that we bought into. Somebody was knocking on our temple and sold us something that took us out of our center space. And now we get to go back in and spin that crap off that does no longer fit. Going inside here, I want you to just really connect with that childlike innocence that's at the heart of who you are, and that's how you were when you were younger. Yes, nobody had the perfect childhood. However, there should be some moment or moments in your life where you were younger and felt that. And the reason nobody had a perfect childhood is because we've been passing the poisonous apple up. Here, have a bite, everybody. My parents fed it to me. Their parents fed it to them. Who do we blame? I mean, who do we blame for the generational passing of duality, of seeing you and I separate, to where we can treat each other, horribly? You have to separate from something before you can harm it. That's what duality does. So unity brings all that back together. So focusing on the heart space, being submerged, being baptized in your nudity, in your vulnerability, in your truth of who you really are. A divine being living on a divinely created planet that is offering you everything that you need and desire in the story. However, somebody knocked on the door of our temple and we bought another story. in some cases, a really shitty story. So kick those money changers out of your heart, going back to your innocence and wonder. And if you don't feel it, you can just get God, Source, Allah, George, whatever name you give that life-giving and sustaining force, and go, show me how. I wish to be back in that space where you and I are one. Show me how. And you'll get answers, I guarantee. And when you celebrate that childlike innocence in you, every child on the planet begins to have that experience. And the reason negative things happen to the children on the planet is because we sold our childlike innocence, in some cases, for a bag of beans. And now we can change that. And when we change it here, it changes out there. So go through your day just trying to be in that space of childlike. Well, don't even try. Just be in that space of wonder. So take a deep breath in. Your whole energy field is going to compress to the size of a pea. When we breathe in and we breathe out, we're exploding like a nova from the heart space, sending that vibration out. So breathe in. Imagine your heart waves, your Sufi wings going out in all directions, wrapping around, touching your family, your community, your world, wrapping your wings around the world. Alrighty, peeps, I'm going to go have a childlike day full of spirit and wonder and God. And may you do the same. Namaste.